Hello everybody.
Hi.
Hello YouTuber. This is Henry, and Nana with me from Indonesia. I just learned Nana is also a sumi teacher in Indonesia. If you want to learn in Indonesia, you should learn from Nana.
Thank you.
She's very talented. I'm going to show everybody how to mount painting that we just did. You will see that later. We're going to make a paste preparation. I use a flour paste, a wheat flour paste, but it's gluten free.
Gluten free.
Yeah, it's a wheat starch. Wheat starch. They took out the gluten, right? And I just estimate what I need because it won't take much because the painting is small. But however, I would use more than I need, maybe prepare the paste more than I need, just in case. I have thicker paste in my refrigerator, so if we don't have enough, we can use that to make up.
Yeah. If you make too much, can we keep it?
Yeah, you can keep it in the refrigerator. It will last
For
very
how
long. If you put a little water to keep it wet, not drying, it could be months maybe. Because we use this alum as preservative. Preservative, yeah. It will again the fungus and mold, So I put a little bit alum. It's just like a salt, just as much as maybe salt.
How much? A pinch.
A pinch, yeah, salt.
Yeah.
A pinch. When we cook, we don't really measure it. Just a pinch, yeah. And then I use chopsticks. You can use a whisk if you want. Let me get some water. But I boiled the water already. It's on my stove.
So we use hot water for it.
I use cold water first. Just a little bit. Just you make a batter first. Just like you cook. You want to eliminate the numb. What is it called?
Yeah.
The
Make it all smooth.
yeah, without numb.
Without lump.
Yeah, a batter. Just beat it with a chopstick. You can use maybe
Preservative.
yeah, a spoon could also help.
I think it's salt.
No, it's not salt.
Is it salt?
No, preservative.
Alum.
Alum.
ALUM. Alum is used in some kind of food like youtiao fried, they make bubbles in the preserve.
Preservative.
Yeah, preserve, for pickling cucumber, pickle.
Pickle.
Manufacturer do that, but we don't know what's the percentage for that. Yes.
It's a preservative. Okay. See, it's a very thick. You could as far as you eliminate numb, so it could be thinner or thicker. Maybe not too thin because you're not going to cook it well if it's too much cold water here, right? So let me take that. My water is boiling on the stove. Let me just shut this off. Boiling water. So I don't use any boiling water. Just stir it while I pour this boiling water. And when it turns to that, it will make it into a
Thick
cook.
paste.
Yeah, thick. Yeah, you will see it's thickened.
Yeah.
I cannot show them. You will see that. Okay. So basically, this is you can keep in the refrigerator. You can use it for the final fixing job. It could be. It should be thicker than you need. It could be very thick actually, because I didn't want to preserve. It could make it like a tofu, kind of block. But this won't form anything. You can put it in a jar or something.
For mounting, it's better runny like this or thick?
You can make well, when the professional they make it when they can it will last for months. They make it thick,
Oh.
like a soft tofu kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah.
Put it in the water to preserve it. But we don't do that. I just make it very easy every time I meet, right? But the thing is, we have to wait it cold. So or I just let it in the refrigerator
Yeah, okay.
to cool it down. Can you help me putting in the refrigerators and let it cool down? Yeah. Let me turn this to the table now. Okay, thank you. Let me prepare the painting area with some. You should first of all clean the table. If you have used table for painting, but make sure there's no stains on it. That kind of thing.
They're a bit.
Yeah.
So I use some towel to do this. I just tapping it. Okay, so clean the mounting surface first. So there's no stains, no dust, no anything, because you may got sand on that. Yeah. Let me just put this away. And then prepare the painting. Let's just do yours.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, my question. Are you going to take it with you today? It might take, if I put it in the sunshine to dry, it might take 20 minutes, half an hour.
Okay,
to be
maybe
fast.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanna take it.
Use my work.
Or actually, I wanna take yours home.
Okay, you can
Yeah,
take mine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. You can do that. So let me just use mine.
Maybe you can use this one, and I'll take this one home.
Oh yeah, you can
Yeah.
take one. This
Just roll
you
it.
okay? Roll it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see. I'll try to use unconventional way because usually it takes a long time to dry when you wet mount it. But since it's California, maybe we can. You're leaving tomorrow, I know, so we can try to sun dry it. I've never done that, but maybe
no,
we'll.
it's okay. You
Yeah.
can send it to my auntie. My
Oh,
auntie
okay.
live
Oh,
in,
you can give.
yeah.
Okay. He will come to pick it up.
Yeah,
Oh, I can give you with a piece of glass, plastic glass. You can take home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that will work, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I have one. Let me get a piece of mulberry paper. Or you can use the same kind of rice paper. Anything can work, you know.
Oh.
But mulberry paper is the best. Maybe we can use that. It's not good enough.
So any paper?
Yeah, I just use rice paper because classically they use rice paper. Okay, for wet mounting, I just use this piece of rice paper. Okay, I tint it over.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Deco. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll paste on this side, and then I put this on, and then to dry. So let me see. I can also try to do it on a piece of glass, so you can take home with that. Let me see if I can find the glass, plexiglass. Okay. the glass I have is too big or too small. So maybe we can just use
Okay.
this thing, and then we just take it outside, let it dry
Okay.
under the sun. So that's my new experiment. I think it would work. It's a small painting, so it shouldn't be a problem. So we just use this surface, and then let me clean this. We can use table to mount, and then we put this as a drying surface. Okay. This needs to be cleaned also. I think it's a permanent marker or something. Don't have to worry about that. That's okay. So we can take this outside to dry it.
Oh, so for drying.
Yeah, for drying.
Okay.
I try to dry it like very fast, see how fast we can get.
Okay.
Because with dry mounting, there's no waiting time. But with wet mounting, usually it takes overnight at least.
Okay.
Or in California, it's different. It's very hot, dry. You can feel that, right?
I learned dry mount from your YouTube video.
Oh, thank you.
And I ordered the silicone paper from
Okay.
you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me see. This paste is too thick.
Go check.
So let me use a bowl just to save some. You need to have thick paste when you fix it on the drying surface. So we'll just use like a half of it, maybe a little more than that. So this is what I need. And now I just add more water. Okay, I just use
Cold water.
cold water. Yeah, let me use a cup of water. I use cold water to dilute it. You can use a chopstick to stir it, or just use the brush, the pasting brush. Okay, I use this brush. Actually, it's better to soak the brush, but it's okay. I just soak it in the thin paste. This is very important because in California we have dry weather, so that it dries faster. So I use more moisture. In Tucson, I learned from other fellow artists. They said wet mounting is very difficult. It dries before you finish brushing. It dries too fast. So I use a lot of water. Yeah, just use more water. All right. So this is like a milk.
Like milk.
Yeah. Is that close to milk? So you see a little bit like a stickiness in it, but not too much. All right. And I use a water sprayer to spray the painting to let it relax first. Let me see if we're recording fine. I think we need to focus on the table a little more. I'll focus on the table now. Let me get the water spray. So you spray the paper first with a little water to relax the wrinkle, and it will make the shrinkage less intense, so less like to make more wrinkles when you paste. Just spray a little bit evenly. So don't make sure you make sure the brush the painting is facing back. Yeah, you paste on the back side. Okay. The painting we did with watercolor.
Yeah.
Actually, this particular brand is Hoban. I was told it's compatible with Chinese painting.
Oh,
so
okay.
let's see. I
Let's
haven't.
see.
Yeah. Okay. Even I know that, and it's just freshly painted, right?
Yeah.
I could have sun dry it first.
Oh.
But
Okay.
to make sure it's completely
Okay.
dry because the paint
Yeah,
could be
big
still
there,
there. So, but because it's in the water, some smearing make it
This is
more
fine.
interesting.
Okay.
So I'm still painting it, so to
Okay.
speak. This is how I do. I paint the water, so the color, if it is smear, it will not invade the white area, right?
Okay.
So I don't start from the fish. This is the trick. If you start from fish, the smearing goes right into the water and it's disastrous. So I make sure the water is wet. When you wash background, I always do this with landscape, the clouds.
Also like this one.
Yeah, I mean the water goes to where it's drier, right? Now I work on the inside
fish.
of the fish. So if it smears, it's not going to affect too much of the. It can be on my it does it does come off on my brush, but so what? It's not going to stain that much because I already got water protection to that. So I'll just wash off the paint in the paste and it just does just be careful with the areas smears. The ink might be okay, so I just go over that. The last thing I will do is you will see. And I can control where it smears.
Yeah.
I can brush up or brush down. I think brush down. So it's like a painting.
Okay.
So if it smears, it will, create some nice effect, right? So it's not going to affect my painting that much. So I just consider you can control where it smears.
Yeah.
The direction it smears. So it doesn't matter if it smears.
Okay.
It will come off. You see that?
Yeah.
It will come off, but not serious, not so serious so far. And I just wash out a little more. I mean, this little color won't really be noticed. It's on the back. I think it's okay. Holbein watercolor.
Oh, yeah, not bad.
Holbein watercolor.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, Japanese brand.
Good.
Yeah. I'm not sure about Newton or other brand. Maybe Daniel Smith is good. So you have to experiment with each brand. So watercolor pen artists, you can use watercolor. I love watercolor because they can be reused in the half paint form. So they don't get dry that easily. They use a different binding material, so it is gum arabic. But Holbein may be different than the other brand. Who knows what they use? But from others' experience, I learned this is a good brand to recommend. And I also use for regular watercolor painting. It's good. So let me move this away.
So we clean it first.
Yeah.
Excess.
You can clean further with the clean. Just make sure. But you can leave it a little bit. You don't have to touch it. That's the point. You can clean the margin with the. I usually just do with the wet, because this is dry cloth. You can. I think that's enough. Okay. Now you roll the paper in the. You can use a beam like a wood.
Oh, okay. For cooking.
Yeah, for cooking. I just because it's not too big, you can use any roll kind of thing, like a tube. This is what I do. I just I use this brush. So that's the pasting brush. This is the palm fiber brush, and leave about 2 inch.
2 inch.
Yeah. At least 1 inch. And then I just press this down. From center out.
Wow.
Yeah. You can
Look
take
difficult.
you can take that out.
Oh,
You
okay.
can just cut this off. I'll use the knife here. This is not difficult, but you cannot hesitate. You cannot go back.
Yeah, yeah.
When it's wet, you have to. So you have to do it the first time, right? You know, without a wrinkle.
Okay.
You cannot lift it. If you can, but it will create more trouble. You can just do, you know.
Okay.
So make sure you press down very without wrinkles. So you just go side by side. You know, not leaving any space between each stroke.
Yeah.
That's very easy. Very easy. Not very difficult. Okay. Many people they will just leave it on the table, but I cannot do that. Obviously, today you have to take home or something. So we're going to.
So people just leave it in the table for how long? Until they dry?
Yeah, they can just leave it where it is. I think they have to treat the table somehow. Maybe just I don't know what they do. It might stick on the table. I think that's my thought. Because yeah, I think at least this part could be sticky. So I have to flip it at least to make it. Then anyway, so before I lift it, I need to blot it. You can use newspaper or any newsprint or something. You just use newspaper. In China, they just use newspaper. Old newspaper. Because this is wet, the ink is oil based, right? It's not going to. It's on the back of the painting anyway. Oops, it's broken. Newspaper. So let me just blot it. You should use at least 2 layers or maybe 4 layers in this newspaper.
Can we use like tissue paper also? I mean kitchen paper?
Yeah, just like a brown paper or whatever with a little absorbency.
Okay.
You don't have to take all the moisture out. Just, you're not supposed to. This is just to make sure there's no. It just press firmly. Just make the 2 layers press together. The paste we use is quite thin, so this will enhance that. Enhance the backing. They integrate them. Press them together, and you can still, because the thinness of the paste, you can even separate them when it's dry. You cannot do it when it's wet though. If something wrong, you can remount it, but just separate the two. So before I lift, I would use a small brush. Or I can just use the same brush sideways. That means because this is the pasting brush, right? You cannot use the same kind of paste. It's not strong enough. You have to hold the stretching force. So I would use thicker paste. You can use a small painting brush, if you like. Use thick paste. I just use this. I used to do this. This is a heavy paste, like
the
yogurt.
Yogurt.
You use yogurt instead of milk. Okay, just do this.
Oh, just the frame.
Just use the
Yeah.
the side.
Yeah, this side.
Okay, that's it. And then we flip it onto the board we prepared. I need to. Let me see. I will lift it, and then you put this on the table for me.
Table?
So slide on this same
okay.
table, so I can put it back on the table. So I'll flip it first. Hold on,
Okay.
please. It's always good to have 2 persons to assist to 1 person to assist you. So I lift the corner. You can see maybe from this side. I lift with a brush, with a knife.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just lift that. It will come with me. Otherwise, it will stay on the table.
Oh.
So this is very important. Use a sharp knife to lift that corner, and then you lift from corner to corner. If I put it on the wall, I hold it like this. I'm used to this because it's better to hold it than fingers. Okay, put it. So you can use a glass, plastic glass, anything, or just like a whiteboard I'm using. Yeah. So I think it's better to have the board vertical because the gravity helps.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you see that
Like
that
that.
helps. Yeah. So I have no experience with flat surface. I think.
Oh yeah.
No,
Like
yeah. You
standing up is better.
can do that. Just stretch a little bit. The point is, you don't have to make it too flat because the stretching force is so strong that will pull it from all directions and make it flat. Okay, so this is the okay. I will use this brush. I think it's better to put it on the easel. I could have using the easel.
Yeah,
So
easel.
yeah, just put it on the. So it drips
Stand
down.
up, yeah.
Yeah, it drips down, so it's easier to. That's why I think the drying board vertical. They just use the wall. Drying wall is the traditional way they do it in the mountain shop in China. So it's all vertical. But that's okay.
Okay.
And then I just want to make sure it's good because this surface is quite slippery. I'm a little concerned that it might pop up first. You don't want to. You don't have. This part is dry first, then you will. You want to make sure it stays there, and you can use a wet towel to remove the remains later, but you want to make sure it stays. Okay. So this is how I just dab it. So just make sure it stays there. Now I will go outside. Just put this in the sunshine. You maybe not direct the sun. Just the wind. Yeah. See the smearing, but I love it.
Yeah.
Is that nice to make it look softer?
The water.
Nice. Yeah. So not so serious. If it smears this way more, it might be a problem. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice. So you can wet mount it. If it dried longer before we mount it,
okay.
also you can iron or you put it sun dry first. There's another trick I learned. I haven't tried that from a fellow artist who used all kind of paints, including gouache and watercolor. He would use 10% maybe solution from I think he said just the gelatin, not the alum. But I think you can also add alum. It would fix it. And just apply that solution on the back of the painting, let it dry on the table before you mount it. Or you can. Some say just sun dry your painting, but it might hurt the hues. I don't know. There are all kind of methods to do this, and people using different tools. But this is very traditional. You must have it for dry mounting, and then
I think I'll take this.
you take this, and
I
we
have
have
this one.
yeah. Okay. Good. So I'm going to stop this, and I'll show you the effect. I'll put it in the backyard, and then after it dries, we'll come back. Let's see.